Welcome to this first prototype video. This is my first time trying a long form video, doing a repair, and today we have a MacBook. Now see, this laptop has three essential problems. The first problem is it's not turning on. The second one is that allegedly the O key is stuck. And the third one is that it's an Apple product. Well, we can't do much about the third problem, but we can try to fix the first two. And as you can see, I've already taken it apart, and we can simply lift up the hood. And I also screwed the motherboard out of its position, so we can take that out. So at first I thought maybe it could be a backlight failure, because that was very common for MacBook Pros with the butterfly keyboard and the touch bar, but it is not a backlight failure. So that makes things a little bit harder, but also a little bit cheaper maybe. So I measured the motherboard, and first of all, what is very noticeable, let me show you. Gasket, but that's not important. And as you can see, we only have, I don't know, can you see that? Yeah, now I can. We only have 5 volts. Now, the way these laptops work is normally they use PD, power delivery, to the USB-C protocol to tell the computer uses the USB-C protocol to tell the charger that he needs 20 volts. That's the normal operating voltage for MacBooks. And it tells them that, and then the charger says, okay, you get more than 5 volts, you get your 20 volts you wanted from us, and that's that. But apparently that doesn't work here. So why doesn't it work? Well, yeah, that's a question. I don't know. See, you have 4 essential USB-C chips on this motherboard. The first one being this one, and the other 3 being on the other side, this one, and these 2. So now you might think, okay, so each chip is 1 port. Yeah, you're right. But you might also think, yeah, okay, but then if 1 chip is broken, 3 other ports should work. And that's very wrong, sadly, because that's not how Apple designed this laptop. Why should they? So yeah, if one chip is broken, the whole power system on this motherboard is broken, sadly. And now I can show you what I've found. For that, I'll give you the multimeter on screen. That's our continuous mode. So when my probes here touch, it beeps, and it shows here that it's closed. The threshold on my multimeter is set to 50 ohms. So let's see. I've tested everything, but one very particular thing was very interesting. So we have this special capacitor, and both sides are shorted to ground. Now, you would assume that it's only this capacitor that's broken, and that we only need to replace this one. Well, sadly, this isn't the case, because there's another capacitor, and let me just find it. It's not this one, it's this little guy right here that's also shorted to ground. It's a bit... oh, I'm not on ground here. So it's both sides shorted to ground, so it's completely shorted. So you now might say, okay, so maybe you got a little bit unlucky and you have two caps that are broken. Well, I see where you're coming from, but if two caps are broken, there's a bigger problem. And our bigger problem is this little guy here. It seems that the chip is completely cooked because both of these caps are on the railing of this chip, and it's PP3V3 UPC XBLDO. So we gotta replace that, and for that I've got a replacement chip I ordered recently, and we have to solder this one off with a heat gun. Let me get the multimedia away so you can see better. With a hot air gun, and we have to replace the other caps too. Now there's a problem. I have a relatively new video setup, and as you might have noticed already, I use the camera to zoom in and out. But I don't have a microscope setup, so video microscope. So I have this big binocular thing, and as you can see, in order to use it, I have to put you guys away. So I try my best to somehow move it differently so that you can still see something. But it could be that your vision will be impaired by this thing. So now, as you can see, I have changed our background to blue. This is a heat resistant silicone mat I am using to not damage my green mat under there. And I've prepared our hot air station. In the meantime, I can tell you always work in a very well ventilated area, because you don't know what fumes you'll sniff while working on this stuff, and you don't want to die from mystery cancer when you're 40. So let's go. I'll take my tweezers and I'll pinpoint the accept cap, and I'll circle with hot air over it using like 80% of airflow. That'll help. So let's heat it up. Always circle, never pull, you don't want to rip a pad. Always circle until the capacitor gives in. Airflow can help increase, and it's not budging here. But it soon will, I'm sure of that. Maybe a little flux, because don't want to roast it. Ah, it's moving. There we go. We will take the other cap off, and I have to see if it's the right cap. Yeah, it's alright. The other cap is on the other side. Whew, how I'm gonna do that so that you guys see something like this. Exactly, this is the cap we're talking about, this here. You're out of focus again, nothing new. I hope that's better. Gonna look right now if it's the right cap. We should hear a beep. We ain't hearing a beep. You know why we aren't hearing a beep? Let me test something. Maybe I'm generally confused right now. Could it be that only that one bad cap led to the other cap being bad too? Being shorted. Because then this would be a much easier and cheaper fix. I could have tried this all along, but I should have. So yeah, I'm gonna do it here where you can see something. Let's put in 5 volts. Holy shit, and it's going up to 20, so it was this one bad cap. No need to replace any chips. Well, yeah, so that's that. So we are going to replace this faulty capacitor. Of course, it would work without, I believe, but we don't want to leave this spot empty. That would be not professional. It would be unprofessional. So we're gonna replace it. Hello there, it's future me from the editing program. So apparently OBS didn't record my microphone, so I'll have to talk over the video here. So we're placing the O key. It's a common problem on butterfly keyboards that the keys start to behave strangely the older they are. It's mostly just a bit of corrosion or dirt under the keycap. So you can take everything off the whole assembly, clean it with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, like we are doing right here. And then you can essentially put it back together. The butterfly mechanism is a bit strange. It takes a little bit of practice to get it on there. You see I'm struggling a bit too. But if you do it once or twice, you'll get the hang of it. So I'm using a screwdriver here to put the mechanism over the shrapnel until it fits, and then we can put the keycap on shortly. It's a bit of a tricky situation, yeah. So now we can put a keycap on. It's important that you slide it on from the bottom and don't press it on because it has little hooks and you could break them. And now we're done. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think and see you next time.